Well, hello there. Are you ready? Are you ready for this show? Thanks for being here. So glad to see you. Welcome to our show. Where's my notes? I put that in the wrong one. I did. I was working on my notes and apparently I put it in the wrong spot. So, we're live, everybody. Welcome to the show. Are you tired of counting calories to lose weight? Do you want to know how you can easily lose weight on a keto diet without counting a single calorie? Well, hang on. This show is for you. Stick around. I've got a lot of stuff planned for you. I'm actually going to be sharing a big giveaway that's happening as well. Here's a little clue of what it is. I'm going to tell you all the details of that. And so welcome everyone. Keto Chat Live. I love you being here and interacting with the show. So go ahead and give me a comment. Let me know that you're here. Tell me where you're joining from. I can see we got a few people on the YouTubes watching us too. So welcome everyone. If you don't know me, I'm your host, Carol Freeman. I am a board certified keto nutrition specialist. I specialize in helping women 40 plus follow a keto diet for long-term sustainable weight loss. I also am a behavior change, diet, eating habit change, psychology expert as well. So glad you're here. Let's just get the legal disclaimer out of the way as well so we don't get in trouble. This show is meant for educational and entertainment purposes only. It is not medical advice nor intended to diagnose, prevent, treat, or cure any condition. If you have questions or concerns related to your specific medical condition, please contact your professional healthcare provider. So, all right, check that box, everyone. Welcome. I got a little quiz for you watching. Can you guess the city that I'll be speaking at in May? So I've got a conference I'm going to in May, and let's see if you can actually guess. Let's make this fun and interactive. So give me your best guesses as where I'm going to be performing. I'll tell you later in the show, so hang on, but I'd love to see you guessing. So also, if you want to support the show with the super chat, we really appreciate that. And so on YouTube, super chat feature, or on Facebook, you can give us awards in the Facebook group. That's a fun little feature now. And also, if you're listening on one of your audio podcast platforms, if you give me a review, that really helps out as well too. So I appreciate that. So that's how you can help support our show. And all right. Welcome everyone. Where are you joining from? Tell us, can you guys hear me okay? Tell me, I'd love to hear a comment. If my voice is coming through, can you hear me? Hello, Bueller, anyone there? All right, so announcements. I'm really excited to share with everybody. I've been selected as a speaker for PodFest. And again, I got the quiz going on, so I'm not going to tell you where yet. Don't cheat. Don't look it up. Just try to guess where you think that PodFest is going to be. And again, it's in May. So if you live in this city, it will be fun to come and see you out there. But it's just really fun, this journey. Started this. Melissa says she can hear me. Great. Glad you're here, Melissa. Thanks for letting me know. All right. And yeah, so really excited. Be my first time attending PodFest, but I started this podcast March of 2021 and learned a lot along the way about live broadcasting a podcast. And so that's what I'm going to be speaking about at the conference. So really excited. Melissa, give me your best guess. Where do you think I'm going to be speaking? What city in this fine world? I'll reveal it at the very end. So I want to start. So again, the topic today, I'm going to be sharing with you how to lose weight without counting calories. The 7 years that I've been doing this and helping thousands of women lose weight and keep it off. Not one single calorie has been counted that entire time. So I'm going to share with you how it is I teach my clients to do that and how I've done that myself as well. So, but before we get into the topic of the day, I just want to announce, okay, maybe it doesn't look like very much, but this box is filled. Keto Chow sent me all of these. I think there's literally 100 of these in here. So we're partnering for a giveaway. And this box of 100 of these, this has taken me a long time to consume all these. Have you guys ever tried Keto Chow? What's your favorite flavor? So, I mean, look at all of these, okay? I won't be able to consume all of these. So what I'm going to do is for the ones that they sent me, so 3 ways that you can win. 1, in person. Come and see me at one of my comedy shows. I will give you 5. How about 5? I'll give you 5 of your choice of these if you see me in person. So I'm in Phoenix. I actually have a show tonight at Tempe Improv, 8 p.m. Hang out after the show. Let me know that you saw me on live, and I will bring these with me. I'll be handing them out. So also, I will be passing these out in person as long as I have some left. So any of my shows coming up as well. So come and see me there. If you're not in the Phoenix area, you can't make it out, you can actually win. You have to have a U.S. address. So I'm giving away 2 different places, Instagram and on TikTok. And each of those places I'm going to give 10 winners. So a total of 20 winners are going to get 10 packets apiece. And so 10, I decided to divide it up into 10 on each platform. So 10 winners will be announced on Instagram, 10 on TikTok. And just as a disclaimer, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, it's not sponsored this. They're not involved. They're not affiliated at all. So the way to enter is find my post. I just posted it on Instagram before we went live here, and posted it on January 27th, 2022. Winners will be announced in 1 week. So on February 3rd, 2022, we'll announce the winners on both platforms. So way to enter, I put the details on the post, on the Instagram post, and I'll be posting it on TikTok soon. But basically, tag 2 friends in your post. You can do it on Instagram and or TikTok. So both places give you a better chance of winning. And tag 2 friends. Follow me on that platform that you're tagging people on. And then text me. Oh, let me put my texting number up here for those of you watching us live. Text me a screenshot that you tagged your friends. So that's where I'm going to see that you actually did it. So those of you listening audio only, text number is 602-704-5309. Your deadline for this is going to be February 3rd, 2022. In the morning, I'll announce the winners by the end of the day. So that's going to be your deadline. So actually, let's make the deadline the day before, just so that deadline is February 2nd, 2022. There we go. So that so text me at 602-704-5309. Send me screenshots that you've actually tagged 2 friends on the platform, and then that will be your entry into winning. So again, Keto Chow giveaway. You guys, so many of these. These are really delicious. Sugar-free, high protein meal replacement shake, in case you didn't know what they are. So let me know if you've actually ever tried these, and can't wait to give them all away. So, all right. Welcome to the show. Let me know if you're joining us, where you're joining from. I have a quiz going on for the whole show, which is what city? Can you guess what city I'm actually going to be speaking at a conference in May of this year? I will reveal it later, so place your bets now. That's not bets, just guesses. All right. Y'all ready to hear now how I coach my clients to lose weight? Let me give you some examples. So for example, Karen, one of my clients, she's been with me for years. She's lost over 70 pounds, not counted a single calorie. Penny, she's lost 45 pounds and maintained it, kept it off for 4 years, also not counting a single calorie. Rita, in just over a year's time, has lost 76 pounds. Notice the theme here, not a single calorie she's counted. Annie reached her goal weight and has maintained it for a year, and also no calorie counting. And Cheryl, another example, just over a year, she's lost over 70 pounds as well, 72, and also no calorie counting. So those are just a few examples. I've got another note here. Clients from this morning, for example. Wendy's, a new client. She in 3 weeks has lost 12 pounds, also not counting a single calorie. So, yeah, so those are just some examples of the success that people have had without counting calories. So who wants to know how the heck do you do that? Because I know that most of the other keto programs, keto coaches out there, they're having you count calories and telling you have to be hungry in order to lose weight. But these ladies, not only are they not counting calories, but also they're not actually going hungry. When they're hungry, they get to eat, and they eat a meal until they're satisfied. So, so first of all, why have we been told to count calories for so long? Well, one is because we eat too much, right? And the last 50, 60 years, we were told that if you're going to lose calorie, or if you're going to lose calories, if you're going to lose weight, it's all about the calorie equation, right? Like you have to eat less and exercise more, and so that you have a net calorie deficit. Okay. This is because we live in an environment where food is plentiful and it's very tasty, and food is designed to make us overeat it as much as possible. And so the truth is that I've studied the psychology of eating, appetite, cravings, behavior change. I've studied that as long as I've studied nutrition, which, goes back to my first diet when I was 19 years old, fresh out of high school, trying to figure out how to lose 10 pounds. And so I've been studying all this, and that's the approach that I bring to my clients for keto, is how to do this in a way where we're actually working with the way that our brain is designed to eat and regulate our appetite without counting calories. Okay. So I always use the example of like wild animals, right? Why are most wild animals not overweight? Why do they not have somebody tell them how many, like deer don't have a nutritionist that tell them, well, you only get 27 leaves today and 3 blades of grass. Don't go over that. Make sure you keep your calories low. Like the lions in the savannas aren't told that they can only have 5,000 calories a day of antelope meat. Like this isn't a natural state that we have to have limits in order to have a healthy body weight. It's only our food environment that we live in, and a current diet that's a mismatch for the way that our body and brain are designed, that causes us to overeat and gain weight. I talk to ladies every day that feel like there's something wrong with them, that they maybe have a binge eating disorder, or they just can't control themselves. Or why is it that if I lose weight, I always gain it back? Like, why can't I control myself? What's wrong with me? The problem is that we're living in again, we're all the food that's available, 90% of the food that's available is highly processed, combinations that are designed to make us crave it and overeat it and gain weight and continue to crave it, continue to overeat it and overeat even more. And so one of the secrets is just to go back and eat foods that are in alignment with how our appetite normally can be regulated. Eat foods that are designed that we would enjoy them, we like them, they taste good, they're satisfying, satiating to us, but we don't crave them. So what if I told you that cravings are not a natural state of human being? Craving is a sign that we've been eating addictive foods, right? So think about things that are healthy for you. You maybe want to do them, you enjoy do them, but you don't crave them so much that you're obsessed about it and need to go and Valerie's here. Valerie says, currently having trouble envisioning an overweight lion, right? Think of all the wild animals out there that are living in the environment that there is their native land. They don't get overweight because they're eating the food that's just naturally wild available, that's meant to be their food, right? We don't have overweight deer, we don't have overweight lions, we don't have overweight pelicans. How about penguins? I don't know, flamingos, what else? Crocodiles. They just eat, so let's see. Craving is not a natural state. Like if you're struggling with cravings, it means that you've been consuming foods that have an addictive quality to them. So if you're new to the show, the podcast, you can go back and listen to episodes 1 through 10, where I go over my 10 rules that I have my clients follow. When they follow those rules, they don't have to count any calories. Today, in this show, I'm gonna give you more details about like why is it that certain things help us eat in a way that we can trust our hunger, we can trust our appetite, and we'll be able to stop eating when we're actually full and satiated, and be able to have a normal body weight. So, one of the big keys is that I teach my clients how to get adequate nutrition, and we're actually eliminating the foods that are very low in nutrition. So one of the things that helps us regulate our appetite naturally is when we get enough protein, when we get enough fat, and when we get enough vitamins and minerals. Our body's actually that wise. If you've ever watched a deer, I'm from the Northwest originally, so I have lots of experience of watching deers nibbling on various things. And if you've ever watched a deer in the wild, they go and chew on this leaf and they kind of like think about it and chew on it. Maybe they'll have another one, or maybe they'll walk away and they'll go eat some grass. But what's going on is that their sensory taste buds, their mouth, all the things in their mouth are actually recognizing the nutrients. And our bodies are so complex and wonderful that you can actually tell like, oh, this is good for me. It tastes good because there's nutrients in that I need. Something else may not taste good to that deer at that moment. And that's that deer signal to go, oh, that doesn't taste good. There's something in there either that's bad for me or I don't need. There's nutrients in there that I don't need right now. I've got plenty of those. Now, if we could peel back all of the processed foods and remove them from our world and just go back to the way that we ate, we got to go back a ways, but, humans have been on this planet for 200,000 years. So if we could go back, let's say a couple hundred years to the point where we didn't have these processed refined foods. We mostly were either growing our own food or hunting for our food that we were eating. We wouldn't need to have to count calories. We wouldn't need to have nutritionists. I would be out of a job because all the food would just be nutritious for us, and we wouldn't need anybody to tell us how much of what we could eat. And so again, the need to count calories to lose weight is a sign that we're eating foods that are not actually very nutritious for us. They're out of alignment with how our bodies and appetite are designed. Same thing with craving. So I hope you are all having like, aha, like, or maybe your head's spinning around a little bit of like just the concept of thinking that cravings aren't normal. That's a sign something's out of whack. You overeating until you gain weight is actually not normal either. That's not the way that our body's designed. It's a sign you're eating foods that have been specifically designed to make you crave them and overeat them. Not your fault, but once you have the information, then do something about it. Okay. So first of all, so how I help my clients achieve normal body weights without counting calories is that we're getting adequate nutrition. So number one, adequate protein. And I found that for most of my clients, at least 80 grams of protein a day is ideal. More is often better. A lot of my clients, the ones that I've mentioned too, Karen, Rita, Penny, they've all found that 100 grams or more per day is actually better. I myself find that 100 grams or more of protein every single day helps with more satiety. It eliminates cravings for sugars and carbs, and it also maintains a healthy metabolic rate so things don't slow down. Another key of this adequate nutrition actually is that we need some fat. It turns out that we have a fat appetite. We think we just have an appetite for food in general, but we actually have a need for a certain amount of fat. Now, the amount is debatable. When people are trying to lose a lot of body fat, they don't necessarily need a lot of fat, but somewhere between 60 to 100 grams of fat per day is often an amount that is will be satiating for people, as well as provide the nutrients that are in fat. So it turns out that not only is certain kinds of fat essential for our human existence and our health, but also there are 4 vitamins that we can get only from fat. So vitamin A, D, E, and K, guess what? They don't exist in foods without any fat in them. So that's part of why we have a fat appetite. So remember that deer example about the deer chewing on the different leaves, and the body is wise enough to know how much of each one it needs. Well, it turns out that we have that as well, that we have a certain amount of fat that we need that our body can recognize. Now, this isn't to say that you need lots and lots of fat, right? We have a amount that is satiating. So this is part of, so if anybody's listening or watching that's never followed keto, this is one of the blessings of keto, in that most people will find that they have a level of satiety from eating this way that they never experienced when they were eating a high carb diet. That's because they're getting adequate fat. The carbs aren't overstimulating appetite with that. And the satiety that you get when you have the right amount of fat for your body is like nothing you've ever experienced. So another part as well of this adequate nutrition piece of the puzzle of I'm teaching my clients, and probably a lot of them didn't even know this. This might be news to them, but this is my the method to the madness that I teach my clients is what I'm teaching you here today. So also, keto diet, the way that I teach it, especially, we're eating real whole foods as close to the way that they grow in nature as possible. We're actually, now next week's episode, I'm going to be talking about the myths about how isn't keto low in nutrients? Aren't you missing a lot of things by cutting out lots of fruits and vegetables? Well, here's the condensed version of that right now, is that it turns out that when we follow keto, especially the way that I teach my clients, all we're eliminating are the foods that are the lowest in vitamins and minerals. Does that sound like a shock to you? I'll say that again. The way that I teach my clients, when we're following keto, low carb, keto, whole foods diet, we're eliminating the foods that have the lowest nutrients. So we're cutting out sugar. Nobody here would argue that sugar's low in nutrients. We're also cutting out grains. Grains are very high in starch. They're actually very low in vitamins and minerals, especially when they're refined. But even whole grains are very low in vitamins and minerals. We're cutting out fruits. Now, a lot of you might be like, oh, fruits are super healthy for you. Aren't fruits full of vitamins and minerals and nutrients and antioxidants? I got some bad news for you. Fruits really aren't full of vitamins and minerals. Fruits haven't been around really that long either. So in my lifetime, I remember that there were 3 kinds of apples and none of them tasted that great. Fast forward 50 years later, and we've got these apples that are the size of a small child's head. And they're super sweet. They taste really good. But did you know that 200 years ago, apples weren't sweet? They were brought over from England. They were those little tiny crab apples. Who here has ever had a crab apple? They taste terrible. They're mealy. They're not sweet. They're very bitter. They're very tart. And they were just grown as a crop, as something that could be fermented and made a very low alcohol drink that you could have, that was a way of purifying water. They didn't have water purification techniques back then. And so if you fermented some kind of fruit in the water, that was a way of actually killing all the bacteria that would otherwise be in there. So apples. So they're big now. They're very sweet. They taste good. People love them. So how did we get from little crab apples that didn't taste good and weren't sweet to these big, giant, small child head-sized apples? Well, we selectively bred them. We picked out the ones that were bigger and sweeter. But note, I didn't say that nobody was selectively breeding them for which ones had more vitamins and minerals in them. All they did was these were sweeter, they tasted better, and they were bigger. That's it. So I hate to burst your bubble, but fruit, apple's just one example I can walk you through, but it's true of all the fruits that we have available right now. They're giant sized, they're very sweet. They've been selectively bred to be higher in sugar, and nobody was looking at the vitamins and minerals in them. That was not of concern. So fruits are not full of vitamins and minerals. And so what the tracking software that I use with my clients for their food intake, it actually is extremely accurate. It tracks vitamins and minerals. So we're actually seeing this. I create meal plans for my clients to use. And in the process, I'm entering this all into this tracking software that shows me vitamins and minerals. And I'll tell you that they meet the RDA of nutrients, and we're not having any fruits at all. We're not having any grains. We're not having any legumes. Okay, so these are all things. Again, the line we're drawing in the sand is that we're eating the foods that are the most nutritious, and also ones that we can eat in amounts that align with a healthy body weight. It's so freeing. It's so freeing. All right, what else is in my notes here about how I help my clients lose weight without counting calories? So, we got to talk about, okay, so again, we're cutting out refined grains and sugars. Those don't have any nutrients in them. We're cutting all the processed and refined foods as well. Those are very, very low nutrients. Nobody on here is going to argue with me and say like that frozen pizza or those Pop-Tarts are super healthy. We're cutting out all of those foods that are not nutritious. And then also we're mindful of something that's called highly palatable foods. So this is a combination. I learned this concept from Stephan Guyenet, a researcher up in the Seattle area. He studies what basically how people eat that makes them gain weight. And old episode ago on my Keto Chat interview series on YouTube, I interviewed him, and really I just learned so much from him. Big influence on my life about how I teach my clients to eat in a way that's not obesogenic. So obesogenic just means eating in a way that makes you gain weight. And so Stephan taught me this concept of highly palatable food combination. So here's the short version of this: is basically any food that has sweetness to it and fat. That's a combination that's makes our brain go crazy for it. It makes us want to overeat. So anytime those things are combined together in one food, it bypasses that nice natural amount of food regulation that we can eat without gaining weight. And it actually moves into the category of stimulating appetite to the point we will overeat and start to gain weight. So in nature, there really aren't, I can only think of 3 examples of things that exist in nature that have fat and carbs together in them. So mother's milk is one. And what is mother's milk designed to do? It's designed to make a human baby, a cow baby. It's high in carbs and in fat naturally. And it's designed to make the baby consume as much as possible so they can gain weight and grow as much as possible, right? So this is where this wiring in our brain comes from, is because we're designed as a baby to consume as much as possible and grow as fast as possible. Now, if you've ever had a baby, you fed them, if they've had some mother's milk or even formula has that fat and carbs in it together, and baby gets milk drunk, right? They consume as much as they can, and then they pass out from the coma of the numbing feeling of the carbs and fat together. And speaking of numbing feeling, every comfort food that you ever have had or you crave is also this combination of fat and carbs together. Okay. I'm sure you can think of your favorite your comfort food. It doesn't exist in nature in that combo. So let me go back to this, 3 things that exist in nature that are high in carbs and fat together. Coconut as well as one of those. It's a little bit harder though, because it has so much fiber in it that it's not the type of carbs are very low. So it's very hard to overeat coconut, especially raw mature coconut. That's hard. But Rob Wolf is the one that pointed out to me that like coconut is one of those that has fat and carbs together. The other thing that exists in nature that naturally has fat and carbs in it, and again, this is nuts, nuts and seeds. But the way that nature prevents us from overeat those is that they're extremely hard to get to. It takes a lot of work to cut off the husk and the shell and the whatever else is protecting that little tiny nut inside of there. And so if you buy nuts in their original shell, where you've got to pick them out and cut them out and chop them up yourself, it's really hard to overeat them. But how do we get them? And we go to Costco, we get a 10-pound bag, and they're roasted and salted. And oftentimes now they have added sugar on them on top of that. So easy to overeat, right? So those are the only things in nature that exist that way. And oh my gosh, I knew this was going to happen. My attorney's calling me right now, and I wonder if I'm going to pause this. I think I'm actually going to pause this for a moment. Let's see if I can do this. I don't ever know when they're going to call. I'll be right back, folks. Okay. Oh my gosh. You know what? When I called them earlier, I knew that was going to happen. So I'm have an inquiry to be a consultant for a case about some fraudulently labeled keto foods. And anyways, I wanted to talk to my attorney to see like what I need to be aware of if I'm going to be a witness in some kind of thing like that. So he's going to call me back later. So thank you for hanging out. So sorry. That's never happened before. But all right. And okay, let's back to the highly palatable combo. And so again, there's only three things that exist in nature like that. Mother's milk, we're limited in when we consume that to, in our growing years. The coconut, again, that's not really an issue of overeating that because most of us don't live in that climate. And there's so much fiber in the mature coconut that it's really hard to overeat that. And then the nuts, if we get them in the way that they're grown in nature, it's also extremely hard to overeat those. But everything else that's a junk food, a snack food, a comfort food. As humans, we've engineered things to have the fat and the sugar together in it. It doesn't even need to be sugar per se, just high carbs. So I'll name a couple of examples, but also I don't want to trigger the cravings for these that some of you, it may trigger, right? Because that's one of the other things I'll talk about here in just a moment is avoiding craving triggers for my clients too. So highly palatable combo, again, is this high carb, high fat, and the same thing, and it really doesn't exist in nature. And so these are, so we're how I'm teaching my clients how to eat, again, without having to count calories so they can lose weight, is that we're avoiding this combo. We're avoiding fat and sweet, fat and carbs together. Now, by eating low carb, that's one way we're already removing the carbs. So we eliminate that issue. The other thing that can happen though is that the sweet and fat together, which if it's artificial sweetener, if it's no calorie sweetener, if it's those keto friendly sweeteners out there, if you add that to fat, you still get that same combination that makes you crave it and overeat it. So this is a pitfall that a lot of people fall into when they're trying to do keto on their own, is that they make keto desserts, keto fat bombs that are sweet. They try to keep the sweeteners into their life. And the problem with this is that still stimulates your appetite above and beyond what would be conducive to a normal, healthy body weight. So this is a gift I give my clients. So a lot of them come to me, they've been trying keto on their own. They're like, why am I not losing any weight? I'm keeping my carbs low. What's wrong? And it's because they want to keep the sweeteners in. They think if it's zero carbs, it must be okay, but they're actually eating in a way that they're overeating. Again, you add sweeteners to fat, so you have cream in your coffee and you add some kind of a sweetener to it. How much of that cream can you consume? A fat bomb is something that's either butter or coconut oil, and you add a sweetener to it. And those are so tasty, you want to eat them all. Any kind of keto dessert as well. Very tasty. It's always going to be excessive calories than you would have eaten if you didn't add that dessert in. So here's a way, again, of eating in a way that we're not counting calories, but we're eating, we're avoiding excessive calories naturally because we're eating in a way that aligns with our natural appetite and satiety. So avoiding highly palatable food combinations. Hyper palatable may be what you may think of them as well. So stop the sugars, stop the sweeteners. If you're not losing weight, this is a way of, and again, this is a way we're not counting calories. We're cutting out a sweetener, even if it has no carbs and no calories in it. And this will actually help you eat less. Another cue, this is kind of the last part of this secret of how I teach my clients to eat in a way that they're not having to count in calories and they can lose weight very easily, is we're avoiding cues that cause craving triggers. So you may have noticed that like I said, I avoid naming specific comfort foods. And that's because just me saying a certain word, a certain food, that can be all that it takes to start to make your brain crave it. You get an image of that thing in your brain, and then you can't get it out, and your brain ruminates on it, and that carb monster in your brain, it wants to eat those carbs. It wants to overeat. It wants to find as much food as possible. That's another way we're designed, is that because for most of human existence, food was pretty scarce. And so we're wired to eat as much as possible if we can find it. And so just thinking about a food, your brain's going to start to ruminate on it and crave it. So I recommend for my clients in the beginning that avoid recipes altogether. Now, this is something that people think is like, oh, I got to follow all these cookbooks and recipes to be on keto and be really successful. But guess what happens? Like, there's many, many pitfalls with recipes in the beginning. Now, I'm not saying you can never have a keto recipe ever, but let's get you a clean slate to start with so that you can start to get in this, fat burning mode without counting calories. And so what are all the problems with bringing in recipes in the beginning? Well, one is that you're going to spend all day on Pinterest and you're going to be looking at pictures of food and you're going to actually stimulate your appetite. So looking at pictures of food makes you hungrier. You will eat more having seen videos and pictures and looking at recipes all day long. Okay, so that's one thing. Second thing, this isn't an overeating thing, but it just makes it complicated. How many times have you tried to fit different recipes into your macros for the day and feel like you want to pull your hair out? That's another one. That's not about appetite regulation, but that's another reason why I have them avoid recipes in the beginning. Another one, when you make a recipe, it's more complex flavors. That will make you eat more calories than if you kept it really simple. A meat, a vegetable, and add some butter on it. You're going to eat an amount that actually tastes good, is satiating, but it's not going to trigger overeating. So we get this clean slate of no recipes for the beginning because, again, all these multiple reasons why it triggers overeating. Additionally, when you make a recipe, it takes more time than just a quick meal. And all that time that you're in the kitchen, so let's say 30, 40, 60 minutes that you're cooking, preparing, chopping, you might be nibbling the whole time, which will be more food intake, but you're also seeing the food and you're anticipating it and you're just building up an appetite the entire time that you're looking at that too. So you will end up eating more for that reason as well. So these are all the things that I've studied for a long time about how to actually help people eat in a way they don't have to count calories and you can let the weight peel off. Like some of you might not have missed this at the beginning, but I've got examples like Karen that's been with me for 4 years has lost 70 pounds. Penny lost 45 pounds and she's kept it off for 4 years. Annie has been with me for over a year. She's reached her weight loss goal and been able to maintain it. All these ladies without counting a single calorie. Cheryl has been with me for over a year and lost 72 pounds now. Again, these are all examples of how you can be very successful on this. My secrets to helping them do this in a way that they get to eat when they're hungry, they feel satisfied, and they're not having to count calories and feel hungry. So, Valerie says, ain't nobody got time to enter 46 ingredients into a tracker anyways. Yes, so true. It's so much easier and faster this way. Along the lines more of this, avoiding craving cues, craving cues, say that 3 times fast. Also being mindful of like what you're watching. So I stopped watching all the cooking video shows that I used to watch. And avoiding certain sections of the grocery store too. You might avoid walking through the bakery or the sections of the store that have these highly palatable combos, the high fat, the high carb foods. And the other thing you want to be mindful of too, some people struggle with certain places, events, or feelings or times of the day that start to cause some craving triggers. Again, I've got a master's degree in clinical health psychology, And so this is something that I work with my clients on and helping them navigate these things too, because you may be doing all these other things correctly to minimize cravings, regulate your appetite normally, lose weight, but you might still struggle with these things of like, well, when I go to the movies, I always ate that one thing. Or every day at 5 o'clock, I always poured a glass of wine and had some nibbles. Or after dinner, I always sat down to have a bowl of XYZ. Those things can take a little bit more time to unravel, but they're things that we at least become mindful of. And then we can create some new habits, new behaviors, new rituals that take the place of that former thing that you did before. So that's another part of how I can help people lose weight easily without counting any calories. So what questions do you all have? If you're just joining to the quiz I'm going to reveal here, I was challenging people to guess. I'm speaking at a podcasting conference in May, and I'll give you a hint. It's in Florida, so see if you can guess which city that I'll be in May speaking. Also, I announced the big Keto Chow giveaway as well too. So if you want to go back, we're nearing the end of my live stream here, and then if you want to go back and listen, I revealed how you can enter to win one of 20 different giveaway packs of Keto Chow, either in person, Instagram, or on TikTok. And yeah, so that's all my notes I scribbled out when I was laying out in the sun today. So all right, any questions or anything? Let's let me look at my notes here. Next week the episode is going to be about the myth about how people think that keto is, we got a glimpse of that today, but people always think that keto is unhealthy because we're cutting out a whole food group. How can it be possibly healthy? So I'm going to dive into that a lot more in next week's episode. And literally, Erica, thanks for being here. She's always learned so much from you. Yay! Oh, that makes me happy. I trying to get the word out, trying to get the right information out there. So, Nancy, you're a winner. Oh, actually, wait, yeah, is that right? Where am I going? Nancy, you guessed correctly. I'm speaking at PodFest, a conference that's going to be in Orlando, Florida in May. Nancy's she's always got the right information. So thank you. Congratulations, Nancy. Nancy, go find me on Instagram, enter the thing so that I can make you one of the winners. So I want to give you this, I want to give you one of the prizes that I'm giving away. So Instagram, I'm guessing, is probably easier for you there. So Keto Carol on Instagram is how you can find me. And the most recent post that I put on there, I've got all the details about how you can win. So Nancy, I'm awarding you one of them just because you guessed the quiz correctly today. So the giveaway winners will be announced on February 3rd, 2022. So you've got a week to go enter. And if you have any questions about how to enter, anything like that, you can go ahead and comment on this stream as well. And yeah, so today we talked all about how I help my clients lose a ton of weight, keep it off, maintain their weight loss without counting any calories, not a single calorie. And so I'm so glad you've all been here. And so if you're struggling with keto, I'm here to help. Visit my website if you'd like to know more about what it looks like to work with me. I'll put my website here on the screen. It's ketocarol.com. Carol has an E on the end. It's the very fancy French spelling of Carol. And so go there to check out more about the work that I do. And so, yeah. And again, if you're listening on the podcast app, if you'd give us a review, I'd really appreciate that. Helps me a lot, help more people. Like Erica said too, being able to get more of this right information out to the right people. Yeah, if you're on YouTube, you can give us a super chat, and on Facebook, you can give us an award in the group. There's a little award you can give for comments and stuff. So appreciate that. Thank you everyone for being here today. Remember, help us grow the show and we'll help you shrink. And I'll see you all next time, everyone. Thanks for showing up. We'll see you later. Bye.